the challenge of going against Trump. He has one skill, making up nicknames.
Bullshit.
He has one skill.
Hold it now. Hold it now. Hold it now. Hold it now. Hold it now.
The man who was elevated to the presidency of the United States. That man, Donald Trump.
And by the way, I'm president and they're not.
I mean, you cannot look at Marco Rubio and not think Lil Marco. Shithole countries. It's just, you can dislike Trump and think he's a fascist and, you know, you'd be right.
He is, yeah.
And which Republican candidate has the best chance of winning the general election?
Of the declared ones, right now, Donald Trump.
I mean, you cannot look at Marco Rubio and not think Lil Marco. It's just, you can dislike Trump and think he's a fascist and, you know, you'd be right.
He is, yeah.
Bullshit.
But he's good at that. I mean, Ron DeSantis is short.
Ron DeSantis is short. Hold it now. Hold it now. Hold it now. Hold it now.
I mean, Ron DeSantis is short. He wears like high platform shoes to make himself look taller, and they've been photographed. He did have the boots moment. It's like Donald Trump is 2 ticks away from either making his nickname be Puddin' or Boots.
Right, you sort of see Donald Trump sort of begging his staff to tell him he's winning. He can't seem to handle the reality of his situation, and it seems to be just utter chaos. It's sort of pathetic. It's almost like his friends are those rally crowds. That's what he's got. He doesn't have like actual friends he can hang out with. He needs. And so what is going to happen where there are no more rallies to go to? Look, being a candidate for president has got to be a high. All of these people chanting your name, all of these people waving signs with your name, the centrality of yourself. And if you're somebody as narcissistic as him, it's got to be addictive like a drug. I don't know what he does Wednesday morning when it dawns on him, you know, as they're cleaning up the Hilton, the Hilton Hotel, that he isn't going to be president and he's a joke again.
These people are, I mean, this is the secret of MAGA. It's a dark and paranoid and depressing and pessimistic and weak philosophy. Because they may beat their chest and do the whole monster truck thing, but the reality is they think that we're weak. They think our country is bad. They think that the things that make this big, crazy country work and go forward are wrong. They want to turn the clock back to this imaginary past that never existed.
The joke about Trump expanding the map has been made extensively. He did expand the map for the Democrats. This is a guy whose campaign is so far off the rails now that it almost defies description. And the fact of the matter is, you know, he's right now being eaten to bits by piranhas, and his staff are just standing there on the riverbank going, "It's okay, it's fine, don't worry, we got this thing."
And Joy, it's unclear who's going to tell him on Wednesday there's no place to fly to give a speech tonight.
Yeah.
Now, you may have noticed that I have not yet included Donald Trump in our coverage of the Republican presidential campaign this season, and that is because he is obviously never going to be president. He is obviously never going to be the Republican nominee for president, and he is obviously never going to be a candidate for president.
Because you know what? The average person out there, they're not worried about wokeism or whatever the hell it means. They can't define it, of course. Like it or not, Ron DeSantis, I'm sorry to tell you, Governor, there are a lot of gay people in the country. Like it or not, there are a lot of African-American people in the country, Ron. And you know what?
Trump supporters, I think, believe they're about to enter the armed phase of their revolution. I have some news for them. This is a guy who is going to go down as a historical joke, a footnote, an object lesson to others on how you don't lead a party and how you don't lead a campaign. And regardless of all the lift he got out of his celebrity and of the media coverage that darkened the sky for him, this is a guy who still blew every possible opportunity. Frankly, he sowed the seeds of his own destruction starting in the very first speeches he made in the campaign, and it was never going to get better. There was never a better version of Donald Trump.
And so the darkness and the weirdness altogether is going to make him, I think, very off-putting until, of course, Donald Trump tears his liver out and eats it live on stage, and that'll be the end.
The latest polls indicate that if everyone who intends to vote tomorrow does vote tomorrow, America should have nothing to fear. We have one final Electoral College projection for you. This one from Larry Sabato. What's your final tally?
Hillary Clinton will get 322 electoral votes, and Donald Trump will get 216.
Anna Marie, so America has nothing to fear, according to every Electoral College projection, including the one today on Fox News, which has Hillary Clinton at 274.
I am hopeful that this is going to be a fairly resounding victory, and that is going to put some shame back in people about the kinds of things that have come up during this election.
You know how fascinating it is that we are talking about the state that we should be talking about, Florida. And I say that because if you believe that Trump's original sin was the first speech that he gave when he got into this race about Mexicans, right, about Hispanics by extension. And if you also believe, like I think everybody that knows this business has been saying, he's going to be hurt by a ground game. If he loses Florida tonight, he will lose Florida for those two reasons.
And CNN projects Donald Trump will carry the state of Florida. With its 29 electoral votes, Donald Trump wins Florida. A huge win for Donald Trump.
It was truly remarkable, no matter what you think. The fact that we're here today,
right,
and Donald Trump is the Republican nominee with any chance of winning is nothing short of remarkable, and it should teach us something about what's going on out there. And we should continue to cover that story in the days and months to come.
And the reason I mention this particularly is if the unlikely event happens and Trump wins, you will see a market crash of historic proportions, I think.
It is a seismic upset, a political earthquake. Donald Trump elected as the 45th president of these United States. And right now, we are waiting for Hillary Clinton. These are live pictures. We're waiting for Secretary Clinton to address her supporters and the nation after this stunning loss.
This was just not anticipated by anyone who honestly explains what was going on. But only an hour or so later, Hillary Clinton was conceding in that phone call to Donald Trump.
Rachel, America is crying tonight. I'm not sure how much of America, but a very, very significant portion, and I mean literally crying. I've gotten texts from a college campus about a dorm that's just in tears. I know of another that I'm hearing from elsewhere, and some of the people you were just talking about are crying, from California to Massachusetts. He is obviously never going to be a candidate for president. This is a sadness. It is a mourning moment for those people, and it is a moment filled with fear.
They essentially did not get this right. We're covering a story that no one saw coming.
Well, my crystal ball's been shattered into atoms here because I predicted the exact opposite of what happened.
I am your voice.
I don't know what he does Wednesday morning when it dawns on him, you know, as they're cleaning up the Hilton Hotel, that he isn't going to be president and he's a joke again.